everyone and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Matilda and I make videos about books, reading, writing and other things that tickle my fancy. Now we're pretty far into NaNoWriMo now. We're right in the midst of it, towards the end of it, and I believe that all of us participating have had to make a lot of decisions for our stories at this point, regardless of if we outlined or not. Now, I want to share with you my experience this year when it comes to naming characters and places and drinks in my nano, because I don't know what's happened and I need your input. So we're going to start off with characters. Now my main character's name is Alyssa, her best friend is Ivy, and the two of them have a friend called Maggie. So far so good. Alyssa also has a sister named Rena, R-E-N-A. So far so good. And the thing I'm talking about here is not having names that sound too similar, because that can be very confusing. The sister's named Rena, all is fine and good, and then more people are being introduced as things are set into motion. And then we're introduced to a Lena, L-E-N-A. Now she's a very different person from Rena, but the names are still too similar. We're also introduced to Paula, we're introduced to Leo, we're introduced to Aaron, and we're introduced to Max. None of these names, apart from Lena and Rena, really sound alike. But I don't know if you can see a similarity between most of these names. I'll put them on the screen for you right now. Why do I hate long names? Now I guess if my characters have longer names, I tend to give them nicknames anyway. And Alyssa, even though her name is only 6 letters long, still has a nickname. She's still called Al on occasion. And Maggie is presumably a nickname in and of itself. But why do I hate long names? I also want to point out that from the last 3 bigger stories that I've worked on, projects that I've invested a lot of time and energy into, all of my main characters have had names that begin with the letter A. We now have Alyssa, who is called Al. We have April from the project I've been working on sort of in the beginning, middle of this year. And we have Alice from a project I worked on like 2 years ago, who was also called Al. I have problems. On top of this though, I've gotten to name a couple of locations in my story. So far only the one. You can help me name the other one if you want to. But I have a club that they go to one time in the beginning, and since my story centers around witches, I felt very clever when I named that club The Coven. I felt very smart. And they also order drinks while they're at this club, and one of the drinks is called a Black Cauldron, witchy themed, and the other one is called a Witch's Brew. So I felt very clever with that. However, there is also supposed to be a rebellion group, or there is a rebellion group, a resistance group, but it doesn't play a very big part in book 1 on page. And so that also needs a name, and I don't want to just call it the rebellion or the resistance, but I can't come up with a good name. I haven't spent all that much time on it. I will definitely try better. But I also want that to be witchy, and for a while I thought of calling that the Coven, because, you know, that could make sense. But then the club needs a new name, and what would that be? So I'm struggling with naming things. That is the least of my concerns at the moment, but I thought it would be fun to share because I just wrote this story, I have been writing this story, and then I realized, wait, why is no name longer than 6 characters? And why is most of them like 3 or 4 characters? And why do 2 of them basically sound the same? Anyway, that's all I have for you today. If you want to leave any suggestions for what I could name the club or the rebellion down in the comments down below, feel free to do so. And if you have had any similar experience, either with names that just kind of happen without you intending to and kind of ending up being too similar to one another, or if you want to share any other thing that's been going on for you this NaNoWriMo, please feel free to drop that down below as well. But thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another video soon, so I'll see you then. Bye!